Hey everyone, welcome to part 6 of the trainer tutorial. So what we're going to have a look at doing now is the shoelaces. So this was a bit of a challenge trying to figure out. I came up with like 3 or 4 different solutions. I think I've pretty much figured out the best one. So we'll have a go. It's a little bit of a process to do. So I'm just going to turn off all the bodies except the main body of the shoe. And there's a little bit of prep we've got to do first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to construct and I'm going to go axis through a cylinder or a torus. And what I'm going to do is just click on each one of these. Now I need to, what this is going to allow me to do is essentially make a plane in the middle of that I can then use as a reference. Because what we're going to do is actually use our 3D drawing tool, which some people are very, very good at it. I personally am not, and I find it's a lot easier to have points on a plane to connect to because it just sort of drives me a little bit mad. So all I'm going to do to begin with is literally just make sure that I am bringing in, so construct axis for a cylinder, and I'm just clicking. And this is why when I did the shoe holes, I made sure that there was a part of the cylinder I could still touch, because if I try and do that on a fillet, it won't let me. But this was still just a circle, a cylinder. So it was very important that I could still just connect, like click on that. And then if it comes down here, you can just click on any part of it and just drag it up, no problem. I'm going to just keep repeating the process a little bit. Again, I have no idea why it keeps going down there. Look, I have to click. There we go. Come up. It doesn't really matter how long it is as long as I can click on it later to make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to do the same for the holes up here. Okay, so what I want to think about basically is my shoelaces are going to connect above and below. They're going to come out here, and then I sort of want them to appear and come down the side a little bit. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to go to construct and plane at an angle, and this is the whole reason why we create these cylinders, because now I can actually grab these points like that. Now they can be that way, but because I'm going to look at it straight on, I'm just going to rotate that around 90 degrees. And the whole point for doing that is literally just so it's easy for me to actually look at. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. I'll work my way around, play it at an angle. For a little bit of repetition just to make sure. The whole point of doing this is just so I can draw a sketch with points. So when I do a 3D sketch, um, there's points that you can actually snap onto, so it makes your life a hell of a lot easier. I've got no idea why, by the way, the planes come out the size that they do. If anyone does know that, please do let me know. Sometimes it just seems to be completely random. Sometimes they come out massive, sometimes they come out tiny. I've never really looked into why it is, if I'm being honest, but I'd be intrigued to know if anyone just. I'm sure there's probably a really logical reason. But you see, like, I mean, that one's come out really small. I've got no idea why. If you do, I would genuinely be quite interested in knowing. Okay, and then let's do the last two. Play at an angle. That can actually stay like that. Construct plane at an angle like that. I'm just going to save because I'm a bit worried it might crash at some point. Okay, so we've got those planes. Now I also want to think about, basically, my shoelaces are going to interact with each one of those planes. I then want it to come out and down the side. So I'm going to do an offset plane, and I'm going to grab my side plane here. I'm going to bring it out in line with the side of the shoe, like there. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side as well. And it's literally just so I can put some points so the shoelaces will know where to go. Okay, so looking a little bit messy. We've got loads and loads of planes everywhere, but all will become clear in a second. So we're going to start. So what we're going to do is click on each plane individually and create a sketch. And all we're going to do is just create a line. Now you'll find a lot of time when you're trying to do a sketch, it's always trying to help you by connecting to like reference points on your model. If it does do that, I am gonna just delete them. And you can always tell it's done that, by the way, because you see these purple lines will suddenly appear. So I'm just gonna delete it. The reason why, it just means that later on, so if I go on finish sketch now, I can move that point around, which is what I want, like that. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is if I click on that one, hit V for the view, that will now disappear and I can still see my line. So I'm just going to work my way around doing that. Oh, I've clicked on the wrong thing. And then let's click on you and create a sketch. Bit of rinse and repeat again. And I'm just going to draw some lines. We are going to edit these lines later. Again, clicking on the purple that's been created because it's going to stick my, it's going to have like an anchor point for my sketching that's going to kind of keep there, which I don't want. So this one is not moving for some reason. Okay, no, so that's okay. So I've now got again just deleting all these purple lines. I've actually missed a plane here, so I need to go back and make sure I've got the right one. No, that one. There we go. So let's create a sketch on this one. Let's do line. Come down like that. Hit escape and then just delete. Finish sketch. And just it's worth just checking that you can wobble it around just as a reference. I'm also going to get rid of these as well. So if I don't want them, just click on it, hit view, or V on your keyboard rather, because then it'll disappear. So then we'll just end up with our blue lines. I did warn you at the start of this video, it was a little bit of a faff, but this was the best solution I could come up with. There was a few, I spent like a week trying to come up with the best possible way, and this seemed to work quite well. I'm sure there are other ways. People probably thought of a really, really simple way. V, oh, I don't want you either. No, I want you. I don't want you. So you can see on this side, I've now got blue lines. I can move them around a bit. Okay, there's clearly a constraint somewhere there, which I don't really want. Which gets you. Okay, don't want that constraint, go away. So that constraint should mean now, yeah, I can now move each line individually. Constraints genuinely with Fusion most of the time are amazing because they're super, super helpful. But when they're not, they get really annoying. Repeat this. Oh. Same thing on the other side. L on my keyboard for line, draw a line down, hit escape, and just keep deleting all these extra bits I don't want. Finish sketch. Now I want you. Now I want you. Okay, I've turned that plane off as well somewhere. That one, okay. If you just hover over your tree on the left hand side, it'll normally pop up for you. Again, let's delete all our extra constraints which we don't want. V to get rid of the visibility of it. Keep doing that. Where's that playing? So yeah, if you see there, you can see it's starting to show up a little bit. See if I have the right one. That one. L. Come down. Finish sketch. And then last, well, I've got that extra constraint of like pivot point which we don't want. So you can see slowly getting there. Get rid of all these purple lines that we don't want. Finish sketch. Most of the time as well, when you're done, when you've finished using a plane for the first time, it thinks you're done with it, it turns it off. So in this instance, it's actually quite helpful. Sometimes if you ever want to turn it back on again, just under construction, and you can see I've got a lot of planes now, but you can just have those there. So we've done all these holes here. We are going to tweak them. I'm probably going to do the shoelace in 2 videos, I think. So what we'll do is we'll set up all the references first, and then what we'll do in the second video is actually like create them. But you can see basically the whole reason we're doing this is so that above and below the flaps where the shoelaces go is going to be a point where our 3D drawing tool or 3D line tool will actually physically connect to it. So we'll do a little bit of tweaking once we've done all the points. So let's just do up here, L for line, come out. Again, it's going to just give it a little wiggle, just so you know it's not connected to anything. And then we'll do the same on this one. Okay, so we've got all those points there. And then the whole point is we want it to have these planes on the side here, because the shoelaces don't just end there. They do tend to come down the side of the shoe as well. So let's just do a little point here, and then let's do like here or something like that. Hit escape. And then can we move this point? Yes, we can. Let's just do like that. Oh, no. Let's not do that. Let's do it this way. Let's finish sketch. Okay, we'll leave that there for now. Let's do this side. Just bring it like down, like that. Finish sketch. Okay, so we've now got all our reference points there. We'll tweak them in this video, and then I'll make the actual laces in the next video because I don't want this tutorial to go on too long. So all we're going to do now is go in, and what we want is obviously we want the top point of each line to just, okay, if you see that like that where it's moving both at the same time, we don't want that. So I'm going to just click on the line, and then if you go up, it'll underline which sketch that is. So that's this sketch here. And I go and edit, and you see any of these symbols mean that's a constraint. So you can just click on that constraint and delete it. because what we want to do is move each point individually. And essentially what we want to make sure is that it comes above the line of that little flap of the shoe, and then we'll just tweak this one. Tweak this one a little bit, and that's all we're going to do now is just sort of tweak them. We can always tweak it later as well, but for example, we know that's definitely too low. So we just want to make sure we are above that point, and essentially we are just playing around. It might be that we've realized later that we've done it too much. We can, again, it's nothing set in stone. It's just us tweaking it how we think it should look. Okay, so that side I think is good. Let's do this side. Bring it down a bit. Okay, that looks about sort of right. I think maybe those are a little bit too high. And then let's have a little play around with these. We don't want them quite to be as far out. Let's go out there and like that. And then will that let us do? No, that won't let us move it on that plane. What if we do that? Okay, good, there we go. That's what I was trying to do earlier. And then let's down like that. What we don't want is it to be just like bang straight, because that tends to look a little bit dodgy, like it looks fake if you're doing it and it's all perfectly in line, because that's not how, like, a shoelace doesn't do that really. Okay, so I reckon we are done there. So a little bit of a faff, but the whole point being, when we come to do our lace now, it should make it a lot easier. But we've got all our reference points up, so we'll stop that video there, and then we'll start to do the actual laces in the next video.